Max, welcome to Paddock Pass. This is British Grand Prix.
Are you trying to steal my job?
Yeah.
Okay, well you might as well introduce the top 3 drivers.
Here's the top 3 drivers.
He's a natural.
Lewis, you had a lot of support out there today, but with that comes a lot of pressure. How do you manage that and how do you continue to deliver? I think I'm going to call you the postman.
The postman?
Because you always deliver.
Okay, I've never been called that before, but
Well, there you go.
I've been given many names over time, so I don't mind. I don't really know. I think it's just, it's having that belief in yourself and your ability and trying to stay centered. We all have our wobbles, and yesterday was a bit of a wobble for me, and trying to get your balance back and punch through. And today was really composed, super focused. And I knew my strategy like the back of my hand, and thus I'm basically having to become a strategist almost. They wanted me to come in, and I wasn't happening. But I really need to give a good thanks to all the guys that I work with, my whole team, everyone back at the factory. Their families are here with them, and they work so hard through the year, and they will never truly know how grateful I am to be for their hard work, for their effort, to allow me to get in the car that they built with their hands and paint with it. It's the best thing ever. I'm so grateful.
Not only do you go out there and win it, but you also set the fastest lap. Where does that come from? Where are you digging from in Lewis Hamilton at that point?
Yeah, that's this fastest lap thing. I didn't know whether it was going to be possible. He was doing some serious times. I turned, trying to save my engine at one point, and I had this gap, and they were calling me in, and I'm like, nah, I got a blister, but it's pretty good, it's okay. And it was vibrating more and more, and I was a little bit, it doesn't feel always great when it does that, but I was like, there's no way I'm not going to come, I know he had to stop, but my mind was just going, and I was like, I'm going to stay out. I'm just going to stay out. I'd rather just stay. I don't want to risk pit lane entry. I don't want to risk the wheel coming off after the pit stop. Just anything. Take no risks. And of course, the last lap, it doesn't feel like a risk. It feels like that's where I'm most comfortable, when you're on the edge. And that last lap was like the qualifying lap I should have done yesterday.
Valtteri, racing is cruel, safety cars are cruel. How do you judge what happened today? Do you think the win was there for you?
I think it was 100% possible today. Just the timing of the safety car was the worst there was. So I did my first stop, and first few laps was just controlling the pit stop gap I had to Lewis and effectively leading the race. But then with the safety car, he had basically a free pit stop and got ahead of me. So there was not that much to do in the end. I was trying to wait if there would be opportunities, and in the end actually had to stop another time because of the rule that we need to use the 2 different types of tires. So unlucky day, I think.
You were battling hard at the beginning though. You must take so much confidence from that you can challenge for that lead no matter what.
Of course I was battling hard. I was not gonna let the win go. But there was other factors today that I had to give up the win for those kind of things. But I think from my side, I think I can be proud of this weekend, and we'll move on.
Charles, congratulations on a podium. Unable to challenge Mercedes today, were you surprised how challenging the Red Bulls were?
No, I expected it. I think that's now few races that they are very quick in the races. So we need to work on that. So I think we managed to make the lap in qualifying, but in the race they just keep the tires a lot better than we do, and after 4 or 5 laps they are very close or quicker than us. And but yeah, overall was a very exciting race in the car. I've never had as fun as I did this race. So it was a great fight, but now we need to work to improve our race pace.
Max Verstappen and you are going to just fight all the way. It's going to be your main career battle now.
Then be it. At the end we are used to fight since karting. So yeah, cool to be fighting now in Formula 1.
Sorry folks, but you are actually lumbered with me for the rest of the show. What a Grand Prix. What a Grand Prix. As you've just heard from Lewis Hamilton, from Valtteri Bottas and Charles Leclerc, top 3 finishers in today's Grand Prix, but of course we all know it wasn't quite that simple. What a brilliant tussle between Charles Leclerc and Max Verstappen for so much of the race. Of course, picking up where they left off 2 weeks ago, Leclerc though with his elbows out this time. Beautiful
forceful, aggressive, but respectful racing between them. It was beautiful to see. And then, of course, the moment that really changed the race between Vettel and Verstappen. Vettel ultimately given a 10-second penalty for ramming into the Red Bull driver. It was a great contest, really good race, really enjoyed it, and of course Lewis Hamilton now 80 Formula 1 Grand Prix victories, 6 British Grand Prix victories, making him the most successful driver at the British Grand Prix of all time. Let's go and talk to Red Bull. Pierre Gasly came home 4th ahead of Max Verstappen in 5th, making it the first time since Monaco last year that Max Verstappen has been beaten at the flag by his teammate. Of course, we know why, because of that incident with Vettel. But big race for both of these two guys today. Gasly back on form, and that's great to see. And Verstappen, wow, for a lot of people, one of the drivers of the race.
A great result. Are you happy, relieved? What sort of emotions?
Yeah, happy. Yeah, with the progress we made. So I think it was a strong weekend from Friday till Sunday with the 4th position. Of course, as a competitive guy, I feel a bit disappointed because the podium wasn't too far. But overall, I think we did a big step forward. Still a few things to improve, but no, it was a positive weekend.
I quickly spoke to Seb out of the car. So as you can see on the screen now. He apologized. It's of course a shame that we collided because we were definitely on our way to the podium. The car was working really well. I was still in a way surprised I could finish the race with that car because it was first of all a hard hit and over the curb into the gravel and all the things you don't want. We managed to score a couple of points.
Do you think justified that he got the penalty?
At the end of the day, it doesn't really matter anymore, does it? You lost your race, basically.
Another really strong race for McLaren, showing that potential for that 4th fastest team, that best of the rest slot in Formula 1. Carlos Sainz came home 6th, having held off Daniel Ricciardo in the closing laps. He'd looked good all day. So too, though, had Lando Norris. Unfortunately, just the strategic implications of when the safety car came out and how that all sort of really played out took away the chance for Lando to score points today. They ultimately both deserved it, but only Carlos came home with anything to show for his British Grand Prix. P6 and best of the rest.
Carlos, what do you make of your weekend?
I make of my weekend like a strange Saturday, something that we need to analyze, but back to business on Sunday. Back on it after a great start. Like the last few, after a controlled first stint, managing the tires, allowing us to go as long as anyone else, and then very fast towards the end. But fortunately, a yellow car was faster, which meant it was a very stressful end to the race. But at the same time, a good fun because we just hold him back and we made it to P6.
After the difficult weekend that the team endured in Austria, Silverstone, I think will go down as a much better Grand Prix week for Renault. 7th and 10th at the flag. Daniel Ricciardo having a great tussle with Carlos Sainz in the closing laps. And Nico Hülkenberg had a real kind of like topsy-turvy race. At one point it looked like he'd gone off and was looking kind of slow, but pulled it back for a P10 finish. Double points for Renault.
Daniel, talk me through your race.
It was all right. I mean, I was busy for the most part. I think at the end it was frustrating. I had a bit of pace on Carlos, but they were quite quick. Traction and then through the high speed. I got close, but never close enough to get him. The few times I was close, it was into 6 or 15. And unless you're really kind of there with your nose, it's hard because you kind of break right into the corner. So I couldn't really lunge. So it was all right. But at the beginning, a few good battles with Lando, and then safety car hurt myself and Lando. Carlos benefited, so we had to try and come back through. But restart was good. Picked a few cars off, and then hunted down Carlos. But 6 would have been sweeter. But I think where we were a couple of weeks ago, 7th and 10th for the team is not a bad day.
Nico, thirsty workout there, it looks like.
Yeah, it is sporty around here. 10th not really great, but I don't know. Race just went away from us. Few things. I think we just pitted too late. I asked to pit, but the team just didn't want to pit me, and we just had ourselves over, making life difficult. Got overtaken then with dead tires, and then got hit at the safety car restart. Later on, we thought an engine issue, and we went to a limp home mode for a couple of seconds, lost another one position, and it's just difficult to go racing with many problems.
Drivers' parade was pretty good today. All the drivers got to go in an MG, an MGA. I'd love an MGA, they're beautiful. MGB or an MG midget, apart from one. That driver was Kimi Räikkönen, and he got to drive the Alfetta from 1950, from the first ever British Grand Prix, first ever Grand Prix actually, World Championship race back in 1950. And I got to talk to him afterwards, loved it. Big beaming smile on his face, says really physical. And a really nice opportunity for him to do that before the race. It must have inspired him because he came home from outside the points to finish in the points in 8th place. A great drive and a great result for Kimi Räikkönen. Giovinazzi, though, unfortunately was a DNF in the Grand Prix, and him beaching his car in the gravel is ultimately what brought out that safety car and led to the whole change in today's Grand Prix. So we're going to hear from Kimi. A really good result at the end of, I think, quite a fun day for the Finn.
Kimi, the pace looked quite good. Are you satisfied with, or how satisfied can you be with P8?
It's the best that we could do. I think the car behaved better in the race, especially in the second part of the race. But we lacked a bit on the straight line speed. So my best bet was always to stuck behind somebody with a DRS, and and in the end we had to go fast to keep the Toro Rosso behind. But I think. Not the easiest weekend, and we got some points. So it's okay.
Down at Toro Rosso, really a race of two halves. No, that doesn't work. Game of two halves race, that doesn't work. How do we say it? Yeah, all right, a race of two halves for Alex Albon and Danny Kvyat. After qualifying, Danny told us, you know what, I'm not having a great weekend. I'm not in the groove. I'm not in the window of where I need to be with the car this weekend. I'm just not feeling it. Albon, conversely, having a mega weekend, been in the top 10 all the way through, looking bolted on for points. And then when the safety car came out, it changed the race for so many people. For the drivers that came in for the hard tyre, that had to make it last. But for those who had just recently pitted and had gone to the medium, stick or twist. And ultimately that was the problem for Alex Albon, was well in the points and then just dropped over those last few laps and finished outside. Danny Kvyat, though, amazing turnaround, came home in 9th on a weekend when he didn't think he'd have anything to smile about.
Danny, into the points, can you be satisfied with the amount of points you've got?
Yes, I'm very happy with the race today because I was starting from the back of the grid. It was very important, and I didn't have big expectations, to be honest, today, but I was struggling a bit with the balance the whole weekend, and I wasn't expecting, to be honest, to have a great turnaround today, but managed to score 2 points. The whole race was very strong, the pace was really good, and so I'm very happy.
Difficult weekend for Racing Point. Lance Stroll out in Q1. Fairly standard. Sergio did a little bit better in the race itself, though. Perez had an absolute nightmare. Contact with Nico Hülkenberg in the race, lost his front wing, had to come in and get that changed. So actually finished last of the classified runners. Lance Stroll, a better race, though, made up a few positions. And as we've been saying throughout the weekend, the new deal that Sport Pace has got with breast cancer care means that every position they make up, they're going to get some money. So no points, but a lot of good done for charity.
How was that? I imagine it wasn't your favourite race.
Yeah, it was quite enjoyable up until 15 laps to go. We pitted and we went on a set of qualies, and I don't know, I didn't see anyone for like the last 15 laps. And the guys we were fighting with, I was in between Räikkönen and Kvyat, and it looks like they finished in the points. For some reason we stopped and tried to come back at the end. I don't know what was in mind there, but we'll have to look into why that happened.
It was always going to be a hard weekend for Williams. That is, of course, the rolling narrative in most races at the moment. They do have some new aero pieces in the pipeline which should allow them to start stepping forwards in the coming races. But yeah, a hard race for Williams. But once again, both cars home at the checkered flag. P14 for George Russell, P15 for Robert Kubica. A tough weekend, but hopefully not many more of these left.
Congratulations, it's your best finish, but I imagine you don't see it like that.
That's news to me. I mean, No, I was enjoying the race, to be honest, because at the start we was quite close to the pack, and then afterwards it was pretty much qualifying lap every single lap, which was a bit unusual, but it was a really nice feeling, especially on a circuit as cool as this. So probably not my dream first home Grand Prix, but for the circumstances currently, it was as good as can be.
Just when you thought things couldn't get any worse at Haas, today happened. They'd stuck Romain Grosjean in the Australia car and kept Kevin in the modern car in the hope that hitting the reset button and going right back to the start would allow them to determine what the problem is on that car between qualifying and the race. The only problem is these two drove into each other on the first lap. The damage sustained by both cars, meaning that they now probably won't know. So that was good.
Romain, sorry to see you in here so early. Can you just talk us through that first lap and what happened afterwards?
Afterwards the damage in the car was too big to carry on, so we had to retire the car, unfortunately. It's a shame. We wanted to evaluate both packages today, and the car felt really good laps to the grid, so I was actually very encouraged by those couple of laps, and I was hoping for a good race. What happened, I don't really know. I just felt like my rear tires was punctured on the straight, so I haven't seen any footage, so I don't really know, but obviously it was on a blind spot behind, and I was just doing my corners behind the Toro also, Alfa Romeo, being on the racing line, and something must have touched my rear tire.
So that is your lot from the British Grand Prix weekend. What do we take out of this? Lewis obviously delighted. Valtteri really disappointed. And I think he has every right to be disappointed because he drove really, really well today. He got the pole. He held off Lewis at the start, and they had a great tussle, those two. And had the safety car not come out when it did, I think Lewis would have had to have taken the fight to Valtteri, would have had to pass him on track. And given what we saw in the early part of the race, that could have been a really exciting fight. We got an exciting fight, a brilliantly exciting fight between Verstappen and Leclerc. And what's brilliant about it is because, yes, it started 2 weeks ago. It started 10 years ago in go-karts. And this is going to be the story, the fight, the rivalry that potentially defines not just this season, but the next future season and seasons for the next decade, possibly, of this sport, those two guys. It was hard, but it was fair, and it was brilliant. And then Seb, and the continually confusing enigma that is Sebastian Vettel. We go to Germany next. 12 months ago, that's where he slid off in the lead of the race, and it all started to come unstuck. And questions revolve as to whether he will still be here next year. We don't know. It's been a great weekend. It's been a really, really great weekend. Loved every single second of it. Can't wait to get to Germany and see what crops up next. But for now, from all of us here, that's your lot.